kid got invited to his friend's house for the first time. As soon as they finished lunch, his friend yelled, "Hey mom, we're going outside." And then the mom walked over carrying 2 black ankle straps with a lock on them and a box attached to each. She buckled one around her son's ankle and then the other one around the visiting kid's ankle. The kid immediately asked, "What's this?" And the mom just pointed towards the backyard. You see, there was an invisible fence running along the entire edge of the property. "I don't want you boys to wander off." These ankle bands were connected to the same system that would keep the dog in the yard, an invisible fence. If they crossed the property line, it would start beeping, and if they went farther, it would zap them. His friend acted like it was completely normal. "Yeah, she just wants us to be safe." They played football in the backyard that day, but the ball was thrown too far and the visiting kid forgot about the bracelet. He stepped out of bounds, started beeping, and then, "Oh no, honestly, that's not okay." This kid slammed the classroom door so hard it cracked. The school called his parents and made them pay $400 to buy a new door. The kid wasn't happy. "You know what? I'm not happy." But him and his family handed over the money. Then weeks go by, then a month. That same cracked door was still attached to the classroom. That's what they used every day. One afternoon, he asked the janitor, "Weren't they gonna replace this door with the money I paid them?" Janitor said, "Oh, I think that money went towards something else." Oh, that ticked him off. The next day, the kid came to school with a drill. His dad's drill. He walked straight up to that damaged door, unscrewed the hinges, picked up the entire thing, and he began walking towards the parking lot. A teacher came running over. What are you doing?" "Listen, I paid for this door. I gave you guys $400. You said you were gonna get a new one. If you're not getting a new one, I'm taking my door." The principal made him put it back. Then the school installed the replacement door the same week. That's honestly hilarious. This kid would fight with his sister every day about who got to use the TV remote. They only had one television, and whoever had the remote in their possession would control what everyone watched. One afternoon, this kid grabbed it and switched on his favorite show. But he turned off the show his sister had been watching. "Hey, that's not fair." "Yeah, it's fair enough." She climbed across the couch. She grabbed his wrist and they started wrestling for the remote. The mom yelled from the kitchen, "If I have to come in there, nobody's watching TV for the rest of the week." They froze for about 3 seconds. Then they continued fighting. His sister finally snapped. She ripped the remote out of his hands and smacked him in the face. It didn't really hurt at first, but then it stung. He walked to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, and that's when he saw it. Oh my God. There was a perfect rectangular mark on his face, and inside the rectangle, backwards but completely readable, it said, "Made in China." Oh God! Their mom took one look at it and knew exactly what happened. Both of the kids were grounded from TV for the rest of the week, but that mark remained on his face for a long time. He was walking around looking like he'd been manufactured overseas. It's insane. There was a family who kept the same gallon of unopened chocolate milk for 6 years. When the dad bought it 6 years ago, nobody was allowed to drink it. He was convinced that unopened food and beverage would become a collectible and rare over time. He started referring to the milk as an investment. Every few months, he would take it out of the fridge, polish it down, and put it back in the exact same spot. The kids weren't even allowed to move it. One afternoon, the son was moving it around looking for a juice box in the fridge. "Careful! That could pay for your college one day." Sure it will, Dad. Sure it will. He's insane. They all thought their dad was insane, but the dad kept researching old food online, on eBay, and kept showing the family. "See, look, this unopened bag of chips sold for $2,000 last year." "Yeah, Dad, that's chips. You're saving milk." Eventually, he bought a tiny refrigerator just to keep this gallon of milk in, and he put a lock on it. The family begged him to throw it away every single day, but he wouldn't. By the end of year 6, this gallon of milk was getting swollen. And one night, they heard a pop coming from the garage. He goes in there. The milk carton had exploded in that tiny fridge that he bought. The smell was so bad, they had to hire a crime scene cleanup company to come and clean it up. This kid said his dad wouldn't stop crying for days. That's pretty sus. This teacher confiscated this one kid's phone during class one day. She walked over, took it, and set it on the corner of her desk. About 20 minutes later, while everybody was working quietly, the teacher stepped out of the room for a second, and the kid saw his chance. He walked up to the front of the classroom like he was throwing away a piece of paper. He secretly grabbed his phone and put it in his hoodie. He then sat down before the teacher came back. A few minutes later, the teacher comes back into the room, looks at her desk, and kind of freezes. She's checking her desk, looking around, lifting up papers, opens every single drawer. Finally, she looks up and says, "Okay, has anybody seen Kyle's phone that I took? It was right here." Oh no, the whole class started looking, even the kid. What? You just took it, ma'am. Everybody was looking under desks, checking behind the bookshelf. At the end of class, they had all finally given up. He acted very sad that his phone was missing. You see, there were no cameras in the classroom. The next day, the teacher came to school with a check written to this kid's parents to buy a new one. And that, my friends, is what I call an evil genius. At this school, there was a kid called the Mayonnaise Bandit. Every couple of days, somebody would grab a railing on the stairs or their locker and their hands would be covered in this slimy goo. It was mayonnaise. Mayonnaise! It was believed to be a one-time prank the first time it happened, but then it happened again and again and again. People were just avoiding the railings. The janitors would clean them every afternoon, but the mayo always came back, and they began checking the cameras. The person that did this was wearing all black. They couldn't see his face, and he would do it at the strangest times, usually very early in the morning. They never knew how he even got into school that early. Months later, they finally caught this kid. And it wasn't because of the cameras or any tips that students gave in. It was because a teacher noticed one of her students unzip his backpack to grab his notebook, and inside they saw a giant jar of mayonnaise. He was caught mayonnaise-handed, and he was suspended. Gotta respect the bandit. One day at one school, this kid brought an entire rotisserie chicken in. Nobody knew why, but during lunch, he took this rotisserie chicken to the bathroom and shoved it in the toilet and flushed. Well, that messed things up pretty bad because that bathroom, every single toilet started backing up, overflowing. The janitor pulled the entire rotisserie chicken out of one of the pipes. Principal got on the announcements the next morning. After yesterday's incident, students are reminded to never flush a rotisserie chicken in the toilets. Please. Now, everyone thought that was the funniest announcement they have ever heard, and the school's number one mistake was that announcement, because now that kid was a legend, and well, he had started a trend. The next week, another chicken showed up flushed in the toilet. Then another. Students were sneaking them in their backpacks and seeing if they could get away with it. It got so bad, the janitors started checking people as they were coming in. By the end of that semester, the school had spent thousands and thousands of dollars on plumbing repairs. And for years after this, everyone remembered the great rotisserie chicken flush. Gotta respect the hustle. This kid was very quiet in school, so the bully thought he would be an easy target. On one Monday, the bully put a fake spider on this kid's notebook, expecting him to freak out. He's gonna freak out. But the kid sat down, saw it, and got excited instead. Oh cool, a spider! Oh man, it's fake! On Wednesday, the bully put a bunch of paper shreddings in this kid's locker, expecting him to get mad that it was so inconvenient. This'll be so inconvenient for him. But no, he started playing in it with his friends. Oh, come on guys! Look at this! It's raining paper! On Thursday, the bully dumped a bucket of water on him. Oh, thank you so much, man. It's a hot one today. After that, the bully just stood there. He didn't know what to do anymore. He turned around, walked away, and he never messed with that kid again, because no matter what he did, the kid had the time of his life. On the first day of class, this teacher walked in and wrote his name on the board. Mr. Stevenson. He told everyone to open their textbooks, and that was his entire teaching method. That entire class, he made the students copy, word for word, everything that was in chapter 1. Well, students started asking questions. Why did the Roman Empire fall, Mr. Stevenson? He would just say, it should tell you in your textbook. Who won the War of 1812? It should tell you in your textbook. Well, what year did World War II end? That's not in the chapter, but the textbook should tell you. Shortly after that, the principal walked in. Excuse me, who are you? I'm Mr. Stevenson. Sir, you don't work here. I was coming in because the sub never showed up. Mr. Stevenson wasn't a teacher the school hired. Mr. Stevenson was just some random guy that showed up to that school that day, walked into that classroom, and pretended to teach the class. The police did come, and he did get a fine. That's insane. There was a kid at this school that got famous for designing lockers. Every weekend, he would go to Five Below, Dollar Tree, or Walmart. He would buy tiny mirrors, magnetic shelves, fake plants, LED light strips, mini rugs, wallpaper, anything that would look cool in a locker. Then his classmates would hire him to completely redesign the inside of their locker. Before he touched anything, he had a series of questions. Do you want modern or a vintage look? You like sports? You want it minimalist? You have a favorite comic book character? What's your favorite color? He would then sketch the layout first in a notebook. Then, that night, he would go through all the stuff that he would have from Five Below, Dollar Tree, Walmart, and he would get together what he needed. Now, he only worked on the weekends. You see, his mom worked at the school, and there were events that would happen at the school during the weekends, so he was allowed to go in. And that's when he would design their locker. By Monday, the kids would come in, go to their locker, and it was completely redone. Beautiful. It wasn't free at all. You had to pay him money, 20, sometimes 50 bucks, depending on what you wanted. This business was so respected and well known, some parents would even contact him to surprise their kids with a redesigned locker. One year, the school held a best decorated locker contest, and he didn't enter, but out of the top 10 lockers, he designed 8 of them. What a legend! You gotta respect the hustle.